Welcome to Please Me, the award-winning sexuality podcast bringing you bold conversations and big clit energy. I'm thrilled to announce that Please Me is the #1 ranked sexuality podcast in the USA and worldwide. I'm Eve, your host, on a journey from trauma to sexual liberation. Join me and my guests as we dive into conversations around orgasm equality, self-love, body positivity, and essential sex education. Let's reclaim pleasure and close the orgasm gap, one empowering conversation at a time. Last episode, the Commandant ignited Please Me with a deep dive into the BIPOC origins of BDSM, revealing how kink is more than play. It's a powerful lifestyle embraced by many, one that deserves to be seen as a valid relationship style without the shame, stigma, or fear that long surrounded it. Today I have the pleasure of introducing Dr. Amy Clark, a renowned sex therapist, and her partner Roy Clark, who open up about their relationship, the communication tools that carry them through the hard moments, and how they've elevated their intimacy to new heights with their creation, Araya. Araya is a luxury high-end lubricant designed to look stunning on your bedside table, complete with a sensual connection card filled with ideas to help you and your partner deepen your pleasure and strengthen your bond. Huge thanks to everyone who's rated, reviewed, and shared Please Me. Because of you, we're now the #1 sexuality podcast in the world. Your support amplifies vital conversations about pleasure, healing, and sexual empowerment. Keep the momentum going, leave a review, share your favorite episode, and help us reach even more listeners. This week, I'm shouting out 5 amazing countries where Please Me hit #1. Nepal, Costa Rica, Lithuania, Egypt, and Mauritania. Thank you for tuning in and turning up the volume on pleasure. I'm also raising funds for survivors of the recent catastrophic typhoon in the Philippines, which struck just weeks after a devastating 6.9 magnitude earthquake hit the same region. Please check the show notes for the donation link. Any support you can give is truly appreciated. Want to ask me a question for the Please Me podcast? Join the conversation on Patreon or subscribe to my Substack newsletter for exclusive content, behind-the-scenes updates, and the chance to have your questions featured on the show. Patreon now houses the entire episodes of the Kink series, along with exclusive guest photo shoots and a sexy New Orleans photo set I created while connecting with incredible kink-positive women. Step into the community for even more intimacy, education, and erotically empowered storytelling. Please Me is for mature audiences, so sit back, relax, and surrender to the pleasure of Please Me.
And it was a lot of trial and error, a lot of practice, thank God. And yeah, we're committed to the
using
cause.
Yourselves as guinea pigs.
Quality control.
Again, honey, one more time. Again, here we go. So, and really, I mean, we worked with a lot of professionals to kind of make this a super silky, long-lasting lube. And the feedback we have received has just been nothing but praise.
Hello, and welcome to Please Me, the podcast that aims to destigmatize conversations about sex and sexual health by turning the sheets into our classroom. Today, I am thrilled to welcome Roy and Amy Clark to the show. Between them, they have 40 years of combined experience guiding couples and individuals toward healing, confidence, and pleasure. And that inspired them to create Araya Luxury Lubricants. So with that being said, I want to welcome you to the show. And I see the bottle there. It's so pretty.
Thank you.
Welcome to Please Me. How are you today?
We're doing great.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us on. We love it. It's great.
So this is amazing. I can't wait to talk to you guys because this is like a very unique product. So tell me what Araya Luxury brand or lubricant is.
Yeah.
What are the components of it?
So the idea behind it was that, just like your show, we wanted to take the negative stigma out of intimacy, right? And so the plastic bottles, the funny names, all of that, and say, we want to create something absolutely beautiful that you keep on your nightstand. So this is our glass encased silicone lubricant. So it's got three ingredients that are very hard to say, but you can read them on the back of the box. But we wanted to be super clean, super hypoallergenic, lasts a long time. And it's something that we wanted for our relationship. And so What else, babe?
And it comes in a
Oh yeah.
it comes in a gift box. So
Yeah.
it's a silk line box, and it has a conversation card
Right.
that piggybacks from our book, The Four Intimacies, where we walk people through verbal, emotional, physical, and spiritual intimacy. So
Yeah. So it's more than just a lubricant. It's a whole way to practice intimacy.
I love that. And just to like go back to the silicone base, right?
Yeah.
This is a lubricant that you can use with condoms.
Yes.
And sometimes I love talking about coconut oil because a lot of people have it in their,
Right.
in their kitchens, and it's like an easy lube to have on hand. However, it is not good to use with condoms. So this
Right.
particular one is one that can be used with condoms. And I love that you sort of tie in the book that you wrote and put it on the card. So let's just go back and talk a little bit about your book specifically. I would
Sure.
love to talk about that and what it was about and all of that good stuff. Tell me about your book.
Yeah.
So the Four Intimacies, you can see it on Amazon. But when Roy and I met, this is our second marriage, and we did a lot of analyzing what didn't work in our first marriages and then what works so well between Roy and I. And after combining that with all of our experience of working with couples over the years, we thought that there's actually a formula to this. And we set to work writing that out and trying to help people understand that intimacy is like a bicycle lock, the one that has like the four numbers, a 6, a 4, a 3, and a 2 before it pops open. And we believe that intimacy is like that.
Yeah.
That verbal unlocks emotional, and then emotional makes a very deep physical, pleasurable physical connection. And then the culmination of those three intimacies leads to a spiritual connection with the person that you're with.
Yeah. So each one unlocks the next. And so every once in a while we wonder, man, do people have different combinations? But it generally comes back to this idea that the more you talk about your intimate life or life in general, and as you're talking, you're looking for your partner's emotions, you're connecting with the emotion. Like when we talk about physical intimacy, that third unlock, we provide two things when it comes to physical intimacy. We're looking to provide two things: security and pleasure. And through all your research that, in general, it takes a woman about 20 minutes to orgasm, but it happens more often and oftentimes faster when she feels secure in that relationship. The fact is that it's the same with a guy. The guy has to feel secure and confident as well.
Of course.
And if she's not connecting with him emotionally and verbally, there's going to be a disconnect. He's going to be living in his own head. And so we really found that it's not a male female thing. It's more of a relationship thing. And the more people began to practice this verbal intimacy, unlocking emotional, it just made their physical intimate life explosive, just incredible. Like we've met with couples that were together for 35, 40 years, and they lost the spark, they lost whatever it was. And they said, well, are you guys talking like this? Are you connecting with each other like this? Do you know how she feels? And not only on the outside of the bedroom, they didn't know what was going on in the inside of the bedroom. So
I know people just don't talk about intimacy. Like even when they come into our office, and this is what we specialize in, it's just really hard to get them to let the wall down. But as soon as they do, they're just like, oh my gosh, that's such a relief. I've never had anybody that I could
thank you
just
so
talk
much
openly about this
Right.
with. So
just not
You're
something
right.
your parents walk you through.
Right. People are not having these conversations, which is much of what this show is about, is teaching how people can communicate better so that they can have more pleasure in their lives, right? So it kind of trickles down towards, through the emotional and all of that, the physical and then the spiritual.
Yeah.
So I love that you've tied that into the product itself and the cards. Before we get into the cards, I want to know what, besides the pretty bottle, sets it apart from other lubes.
I think as far as our research has been, that we think it's the longest lasting.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Okay.
we've heard that from multiple people that own stores and have been around lubes. And
Yeah. So I mean, we were Uber Lube users, big
Okay.
fans.
mhm.
And so
Yeah.
that
And
was the standard. And so it
okay.
was like, all right, how do we make something that lasts longer than Uber Lube?
Yeah, Uber Lube doesn't last that long. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna lie. Like I've used it many times,
Right.
and you have to keep applying it on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So super silky soft. We love it, right? But how do you
Right.
get that to last longer? And it was a lot of trial and error, a lot of practice, thank God. And yeah, we're committed to the cause.
Using yourselves as guinea pigs.
Quality
Exactly.
control.
Again, honey, one more time. Again, here we go. So, and really, I mean, we worked with a lot of professionals to kind of make this a super silky, long lasting lube. And the feedback we have received has just been nothing but praise. So,
And that it's 3 ingredients, just keeping it very pure. I'm
Right.
very, very sensitive skin. If there was anybody that was gonna have a problem with it, it would have been me, and we've been using it for this formula for
yeah.
what?
Over a year now.
Over a year,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah. So we're still new to
Beautiful.
the game, but having fun doing it.
As you should. As you should.
Exactly.
And the bottle, right, is so pretty that you can leave it on your nightstand. So
Yep.
it will go right next to my Rosie, because I keep my Rosie plugged in
Perfect.
on my nightstand,
Perfect.
always ready for action. And so it will go right next to my Rosie. I have no problem displaying these
Right.
sorts of things because it's my bedroom, okay? It's my adult playground. And so how do you make your adult playground even more amazing for those intimate moments? Do you have any?
Right.
I mean, that's a theoretical question,
Yeah.
but hey, you've made this lube. Do you have any other spicy ideas that you can throw in there to make your bedroom even spicier, even more ready for those intimate moments? And I have a lot of ideas, but I'm going to let you talk.
Our bedroom is just very clean and classy and romantic. Like I've got the little twinkle lights and a pretty garland that sits on our dresser year round.
Yeah.
And so in the morning we click on the little twinkle lights and everything is just clean and put away. And the only aesthetics in the room are just beautiful objects like our lamps and the silicone. And then some days we open up our French doors and we've got the fireplace right outside the door. And so we really just try to set the stage for romance and beauty.
So for us, creating a safe place is the number one. So security and exclusivity for us is key. That's what turns us on, right? And so we have a place that we know this is our intimate, that we don't have a television in there. That's not where television happens. It's where our intimate life happens. And so when this is out, if we want to take photos, like we'll do a little spicy shoot that's just between us, she'll know that it's the bedroom, it's the safest place in the house. And so doors are shut, windows are closed. I mean, that's our language. And so the more secure we feel, the more spicy we can get. And so for us, that's what that means. That's what that looks like. The bedroom is always romantic. It's always, like Amy said, a beautiful, clean place. And it's always ready for action. So.
And we start every morning with a cup of coffee. I set the coffee maker to go off at 5 a.m. Roy gets up a little bit before me, and then he brings me coffee, and we start every morning in bed with good conversation, just connecting before the day rushes in. So we spend anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes either in bed having coffee or in our hot tub. And so just that conversation, feeling emotionally connected to him before the day starts, that makes me feel closer, and it is conducive to intimacy.
Yeah. So, and then we give each other
Loving
the
this.
best part of our day, right? That's when we try to make love the most often. Is in the morning.
In the morning?
Yeah.
Okay. And that's just the opposite of me, where I'm like not a morning person when it comes to sex, but I love all of the connection that you do, but even before you get intimate, right? You're doing something special for her. You're bringing her coffee. She's setting it up. So it's like a mutual thing. You're having a conversation. You're staying connected because as you said before, the communication leads down to the emotional connection, which leads down to the physical connection, etc. So I love that you are making a point to connect verbally, to connect, in that way. So I think that's such a beautiful practice and something that people can actually, incorporate into their lives. All you have to really do is set that alarm 30 minutes earlier.
Yeah.
And and you can actually add that to your connecting repertoire for your relationship. So I want to talk a little bit about the design of the product, because I think it's really interesting, and you really made an intentional decision to design it to elevate sensuality. And how does it elevate? How do you think it elevates sensuality, pleasure, and body confidence by creating this like really beautiful design?
Yeah. So I designed the bottle after my beautiful wife. I wanted it to reflect something that is absolutely elegant, beautiful, that really reminds a couple of how beautiful that their sex life is, their intimate life is. We were told, you should have the cap be plastic because you're going to save money on that. We said no, it's a glass cap. Every little detail we tried to think of. This little nozzle there was white. We said, no, it needs to be gold. Just every little detail. When you hold this bottle, it is significant. You're going to feel the weight of it. In fact, we get a lot of people that, they think it's plastic like everything else. When they're in the stores and they hold it, oh, wow, what's this? And you just know that it's valuable. And really, that's what we want to remind couples of. When we designed the bottle, we said we want something to reflect how valuable each person is. We have these lamps. Amy found these gorgeous lamps. They're cut glass. They kind of have a little bit of this design. My dad gave me a decanter with whiskey glasses that somewhat has this design. So it's got this real masculine, feminine feel to it, which we wanted for us. We have friends who are gay. We have friends who are hetero. We have friends who are poly. Everything, right? And we wanted to bottle both this, and then our water base is coming out early next year. It's a round bottle. It's got a gorgeous design as well. And it does the same thing. It says all people and all of their relationships are beautiful. And so that's kind of how the design was. Amy's the muse, and all of our friends are the inspirators of this. So
I love that it's very inclusive. And you could have certainly made it like an hourglass shape, like a woman's body or something like that, but you specifically didn't, because you wanted it to be both masculine, like those glasses, those whiskey glasses, and feminine, like the beautiful lamps that Amy likes. So I love the story behind the design itself. So thank you for sharing that. And I want to talk about the cards that are inside, because I feel like this is really, to me, like what sets it, besides the beautiful design, what sets it apart from any other lube, right? And I would love for you to tell me like what that particular card says, and if you have many different cards, or if it's like one a month, or however you have designed this product.
So there is one card right now
for every 10,000 bottles.
Yeah.
So, okay. Got it.
But an example, the first one says, what is something that I say that makes you feel loved and adored?
So that's the verbal intimacy part, something that I say.
When do you feel emotionally connected to me?
There you go.
Emotional. What forms of physical touch make you feel most loved and secure? And what spiritual or faith-based practices would you like us to explore as a couple?
So those are the four on this card. So every 10,000 bottles gets a new card.
Gotcha. Okay, this is exciting. And so, can we answer those questions? Can you
Sure.
can you ask them of each other? You can switch back and forth, and then we can kind of don't have to go into too much detail, but I would love to hear how this can actually play out in like a real relationship.
All right, you want the first one or the second one?
I'll ask you the first one. Okay. What is something I say that makes you feel loved and adored?
I love it when she tells me that I'm handsome. And she
That's
generally
cute.
takes her hand and puts it on the back of my neck and says,
Mhm.
"Baby, you're so handsome." And it sounds silly, but I love it every time she says it. I feel stronger. I feel more masculine. I feel adored. So, yeah.
And men need to hear these words of affirmation too, because oftentimes, we are always saying, oh, women need to be complimented, like that's part of our love language, etc. But men also need those words of affirmation too. So I love that you said that. That's a beautiful thing. Okay.
Yeah. And sometimes I forget because Roy's so handsome that I'm just like, well, he knows that he's there.
Whatever.
Yeah, and the worst thing I think some people can say is, "Oh, you look nice like you usually do." Like that's not a compliment. Like don't throw in the usually part,
Right.
because that's because I know that there's times that I don't look beautiful. Okay, so that's not absolutely true. But you want to feel like you've put in the effort for a reason, right?
Right.
In that moment, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so the second question is, darling, when do you feel most emotionally connected with me?
When we sit in the library or in bed or in the library and just have conversation about the day. And we're therapists and we debrief at the end of every day and just run through everything. And I just love the amount of attention that he puts in to me and affirms me in the advice that I'm giving to clients and stuff. So I just feel very, very cared for and
beautiful. All right, third question.
Got my glasses on. What forms of physical touch make you feel the most loved and secure? Oh boy, this is PG. PG-13.
PG-13. I think the gentle caressing. Like what? Let me see the question again. It says most loved and secure. Yeah, that's different than hot and horny for sure. So loved and secure. She has this great way of just caressing me and paying attention to me at the same time. It's not just this whole carnal thing. We've got that action too, but when it comes to feeling loved and secured, I would say that's what it is.
Okay.
What about you, babe? Can you answer that question for us?
Physical touch.
Physical touch.
Secured.
Yeah.
I think when you just hold me and we're just very, very close, and he's slow and intentional and checks in with me. And Roy's the first person I've ever been with that has actually asked about physical intimacy. Like, and the first time he did, I was just beet red, so embarrassed. Like he wanted to unpack. How was it? And I was just mortified. I don't know why. It was silly, but once I got over that hurdle and we started actually talking about physical intimacy, it just enhanced it, and it just kept on getting better. Every time I thought it couldn't get any better, it seems to. And I think it's just that deep vulnerability for me. That was a conversation I never had before. And you were patient and gentle and sensitive. So that emotional connection that we had during that conversation about physical intimacy was just something I hadn't experienced before.
It just builds that security.
But I want to clarify, though, that those conversations, like our conversations about regular stuff, that I can be vulnerable with Roy about any subject, led up to my ability to talk about physical intimacy. Because we get some couples in our office that don't know how to communicate at all. And the guy's like, okay, let's talk about sex. And it's like, whoa, slow down. Like,
you got to build the foundation first, right?
Right.
Yeah,
for sure. And then last but not least, what spiritual or faith-based practices would you like us to explore as a couple? And I think we wrote that question in a way because for us, spiritual intimacy is about an exploration, not about an answer. We're both seeking, we're both looking, we're both exploring. We have our beliefs for sure. But I don't think either one of us is so committed to the belief that we're done exploring. So that's what we would do differently.
What's your answer? What's your answer to the question, Amy?
For me, spiritual intimacy is about a shared vision and purpose. And so I would like us to continue writing books and
cool.
Sharing our knowledge. I feel like every every week we will process through our clients, and there's themes, and I always think this is something that more people need to know about, and really like bringing that to the table to let other people in on the conversation.
Yeah.
And so, I think that I would like to continue writing.
Sounds good. I can get behind that for sure.
So I love the fact that you guys are in a second marriage together. And, I often say that I'm like, so, I don't know, tainted from my first marriage that I don't know if I ever would want to get married again, to be honest.
Yeah.
So I love that the fact that you guys are in a second marriage and you're making it work because you're starting from a foundation of like this incredible communication. And that is so important in any relationship. So, and if you look at the statistics of marriage, right, 50% more or less of first marriages get divorced. And then when it comes to second and third marriages, it's even more than that. I think it's like 70% for second marriages. I don't know. I'm just like putting numbers out there that are incorrect. But anyway, fact check me out there. Exactly. Bottom line is it goes up. It's more than 50%. And so when I know that information, I'm like, why would I, even try to do this again, when I'm still like trying to tease out the mess of the first marriage. I love that you guys decided to do this. Did you date for a long time before you jumped into the second relationship? Tell me about how this started.
Yeah.
Because you're both therapists. So did you meet at a conference? Like what's the history?
Yeah.
Well, I feel like I manifested Roy. So I made an avatar of exactly what I wanted. And I was like super specific. And when I met Roy, I was just almost like, oh my gosh, it's freaking me out a little bit that he was exactly.
Likewise, I'll tell people I've known Amy since high school. I didn't know her, 6 years ago, but I dreamt of her since high school. And so Amy was counseling and I was doing some coaching. She had started her practice and I just said to her, I said, hey, would you like some help? Because I was doing some business coaching. You want some help with your business? And I could use some help with some counseling. And so she took on some counseling for me and I coached her. And my coaching is very in-depth. It is a lot like counseling. I need to know what person's going through, the way that they think, why they're thinking the way that they think. And a number of times Amy was just like, we should work together. And I was like, we won't get any work done. What are you talking about? But she keeps asking me. So obviously she's not attracted to me. So that's okay. Finally, I had to say, listen, how old are you? Because I thought, she's so young. There's just no way that she'd be attracted to this old man. And she told me her age. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, so you sure you want to work together?
We became very close friends and there was such a connection. And I feel like on every level, we're just so similar. And when I met Roy, I said, he's the guy version of me.
Very similar. Yeah.
The research that we have done that makes a lot of success for relationships. I have a theory on the whole, like the philosophy of second marriages going up. I think that we know a lot of couples, our circle of friends are second marriages. And I would be shocked if any of us got divorced again.
Yeah.
I feel like there are a lot of second marriages that come together and stay together for a long time. And I feel like those are the givers in a relationship. A lot of first marriages, a giver ends up with a taker. And the giver gives and gives and gives and just keeps on trying. And then one day they just run out of gas. And then when a giver finds another giver, I feel like that's an inseparable bond.
Yeah.
But once all the takers are left in a pool with each other and they don't stay married very long, they both are selfish and then they divorce and then they divorce again and then they divorce again, which I think like skyrockets the divorce rate. But I know a lot of people, second marriages that have been married for a very long time. In my first career, I was a dental hygienist and I was going through the divorce while I was working. And these patients were like friends and family of mine. And I remember like them would some of my patients would ask, and I said, sorry, just a little raw today. I'm going through a divorce. And I remember a few of them just saying, oh, Jan's my second wife. And I was like, what? Are you serious? I just thought they were together forever. And they're like, yep, she's my one and only. And the more that I talked about my divorce, the more I realized that some of these very, very happy couples were second marriages. Mm-hmm. And that gave me a lot of confidence to try again.
Yeah. We learned, we processed our mistakes, what we did wrong and what we weren't going to do again. But we were just incredibly thorough with the conversations and the questions. We basically said, listen, this is who I am. Here's the past. Here's the junk. Like, break up with me now, not a year, 2 years, 5 years down the road. I just want to know exactly who you are, the way you think. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But let's just be really transparent and raw. And I think, coming from a practice background or a therapy background, we know what questions to ask. We didn't know that when we were in our first marriages. Mm-hmm. Now we do. And so I think what you do very well, Eve, is that you ask great questions. You get clarity from the people on your podcast, the people around you. And we're always encouraging our clients, do not be afraid to have the conversation. Don't be afraid to ask. If they blow up, well, then you know something about that person and they need to learn how to communicate. But don't be afraid to ask the question. There's really no answer that can truly hurt you.
Right. I feel like it's just sifting it out. I'd rather sort it out on the front end instead of being too far into it. So.
That's why the questions are so important. Like, always be asking questions, for sure.
Yes. Communication is like the foundation of any relationship. And if you have difficulty communicating because of past trauma, or I mean, I know that for me, my traumatic history made me completely shut down. And I remember in one of my first relationships in my 20s, I literally could not physically say words out of my mouth if I thought that it was going to be any kind of like negative or even, potentially rocking the boat or whatever. Like, I could not physically say the words. And so I would write things down and hand it to my partner, and this was, before my therapy and everything. And over time, I've learned to communicate. And I know that it's so, so, so essential. And you guys seem to really do it beautifully. And to also not just do it beautifully, but like make it a point to make a practice out of creating those times for having that communication be part of your everyday, because it's easy to get caught up in your busy lives. And when you set aside 30 minutes every morning to have a conversation and set aside however long in the afternoon in the library to have these conversations, you have a practice of communication that is going to only build and make you stronger and stronger. So kudos to you for having all of that together. There's hope for us all. There's hope for us all.
Oh, absolutely.
There is.
Absolutely.
And that's why we wanted to write the book. We're like, if everybody could just learn these steps, they could have very satisfying relationships.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's a screening process too. Like for the young women that I work with that are dating, they're like, how do I know if he's the right one? I said, well, it's easy. Like, you have conversation. Is he vulnerable with you as much as you are vulnerable with him? And does he understand your emotions? And if that's a no, then don't go any further.
Right. Yeah.
So
the other question I think is really good for people, and it sounds so incredibly basic, but it is so essential. So let's just say you meet a person, right? Or you're dating. So you're in a relationship. I want you to ask this question. In 3 years, how much time do you want to spend with me every day, during the day? How much time do you see investing in our relationship every single day?
That's a great question. Because
if it's like, well, I'll have my thing and you'll have your thing, and I'm sure we'll eat together and, we could probably watch some television together. No, please don't.
Well, unless it's the same for the other person.
Yeah, but still.
Right.
I mean, we do that plus, though. Like, how much time do you plan on spending investing in our relationship, talking to me, asking me questions, being concerned about my life? Because I'm here, I'm going to spend an hour a day just hanging out with you, at least. Don't you think, babe?
Yeah, I think so. But I think we talk about love tanks. Like our love tank goes up to a 10. It's a, full tank. And some people's love tank only goes up to 5.
All right. What do you mean by that?
I feel like some people keep a arm's length relationship with people.
For sure. Yeah.
And so you don't want to match a 5 with a 10, because then the 10 is going to feel empty and the 5 is going to feel too much pressure. But if you have two people who are very independent or busy or grew up with parents who live very separate lives, then that, like, if they're both a 5 and that works for them.
So similarity is key for sure. There's no doubt. You are looking for somebody who's similar
because
to you.
We get clients that we share like our practices, and because they'll ask us, how do you guys do it? We have a daughter who's 15. And so the whole thing of we have kids in the house and all the excuses we hear, we're like, all right, we have busy jobs. We have 2 companies. We have a child. Like we have the same issues. And so they'll ask us, how do we do it? And some of them I feel like are literally like, I do not, you guys are too soupy.
Our book was going to be called The Four Intimacies, How to Make Love Every Day. And we started to run that past our friends and they were like, what?
Who would want to make love?
Why would you want to do that? And we were like,
me? I want to make love every day. Heck yeah, why not?
Exactly. But even my guy friends are like, no, dude, not every day. I'm like, why? They just didn't want to put in the time. And they found wives apparently that didn't want to make love every day either.
I'm like, you guys must not be doing it right.
Right, exactly.
That's what I'm saying. Because yes, I want mind-blowing sex every single day. Thank you.
Why wouldn't you? Right? Okay, yeah. I get tired every once in a while.
If you're having mind-blowing sex, if it's not so great, then maybe you wouldn't want to have it every day. But then I would want to change that about my relationship. You know?
Exactly.
In fact, it's one of the questions that we ask in therapy all the time, and that is, what would it take to make love every day? Well, all of a sudden, that's when you get all these excuses. Well, shoot, I probably shouldn't have to work out then. Yeah, you might want to do that.
Stop playing golf as much, or wake up earlier.
Take better care of myself.
It exposes all the obstacles when you ask the question.
Yeah, well, we'd have to put the kids down to bed at the same time every night. Okay, do that. We'd have to get up early.
Get the kid out of our bed.
That's always a very bad idea. Yeah, but it kills intimacy from the get-go. So I agree. That's not something that you should have going on for very long. I mean, when the baby is a baby, and they're teeny tiny, and that's a different story. You're breastfeeding or whatever. But, soon after that, get them into that crib so that you can, keep that relationship going. Because especially at the beginning, when you have little ones, there's a lot of challenges. So I love the concept of the love tank. And that you brought up. So I would love for you to explain how you use that and how you teach that to your clients to sort of gauge where they are.
So we use the word reciprocity in our book as one of the 4 pillars of a relationship. And so that's give and take. And we're trying to pour into each other.
Right.
We're aware of each other's love languages. The one thing that I don't like about the love language is that sometimes people use that as a crutch and they say, I'm not a words of affirmation person. Well, verbal,
it's not an excuse, right?
Right. Yeah. And I think that there's a difference between words of affirmation and verbal intimacy. You cannot have an intimate relationship without verbal intimacy. So words of affirmation, you're so hot and sexy. I love you, look so strong today.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
But verbal intimacy is really asking and exploring, how do you feel, and me being able to share how I'm feeling. So we're aware of each other's love languages. We really carve out quality time to spend with each other. And I know the things that really fill up your tank more than than other things. So I'm constantly making bids to fill up his tank.
Likewise.
So what is his love language?
Physical touch.
Okay. And what is her love language?
Physical touch and words of affirmation. And all the above, really. Yeah. Both of us are all the above.
So for love languages, I feel like you might have one that is obviously like the one that really resonates with you the most. But the bottom line is they're all important. So learning how to incorporate all of the love languages into your regular routine, I think is really a beautiful thing. And the love tank idea of like completely being full, doesn't every relationship want their love tank to be like completely full and not at 5, right? If you are at 5 with the intimacy part, right, and both of you are not like necessarily wanting intimacy on a regular basis, really that would be a 10 if you guys are both matching, right?
Right, exactly.
So I love the concept of that. I feel like it's easy to kind of understand and to like fill your partner's tank so that they can be happy in the relationship, and then reciprocating that, which you mentioned was a big part of the book. So
for guys who want to make love more often, I'm telling them, listen, I am preparing to make love on Thursday. Today, what day is it today?
Monday.
Today's Monday, right? And so I'm telling them, listen, I'm planning on Thursday. Tomorrow, I'm filling her tank up for Friday. Like, don't think that I'm just doing something nice today,
right,
so that I can get laid tonight. That's not what this is about, right?
Yeah, a lot of guys are 5 minutes later. I was nice to you for 5 minutes.
Yeah,
Want to go have sex.
Yeah.
Right.
We get that all the time. Like, no. This is a 3-day process. And it happens every day. Why would I skip giving her coffee in the morning? That's silly, right? I tell guys, I go to Costco every other week, right, to get our groceries. It is the best place to get flowers. They're $14.95. Get 2 batches. It's the best $30 you're ever going to spend every 2 weeks. It's, her lowest one is gifts, but she still likes to get those flowers every other week. And I just think it's one of the easiest ways to fill her tank. Okay.
Right. It doesn't have to be a massive, gift.
Right.
Making someone breakfast can be a nice gift, know. So yeah, absolutely. It doesn't have to be actually something that you make, like a card or something that with beautiful writing on it, it doesn't have to cost, but absolutely, most women like getting flowers, unless it's from someone that you don't like, then I know that's happened to me before. And I'm like, you walk in flowers and my mom's visiting and I'm like, no, you're getting the wrong idea, Mom. This is nothing, like nothing is going on. He brought flowers, but I don't want them from him. So, so yeah, make sure that you're, knowing who you're buying things for. They need to be appreciative of the gift.
Know your audience for sure.
Okay. So that leads us to our role play section. And we decided that we are, this season talking about the ick. And so we are going to talk about, well, I'm not going to say what it is.
Okay.
We'll bring it up. But I'm going to be somebody that is coming to you. You are going to be my therapists. And I'm going to be coming to you because I have something that I need to talk to you about. Do you have any questions before we get started?
I think we're ready to roll.
Yeah, we're ready.
Got it. Okay, we're ready to role play then. Okay, here we go. And action.
If you've ever wished sex could feel more connected, more intense, or honestly just more fun, you need to check out Shameless Care. They're a telemedicine company built entirely around sexual health, real doctors, real prescriptions, and products that actually work. Like Shameless Chemistry, their oxytocin plus tadalafil blend that deepens connection and boosts arousal. Or Shamelessly Aroused, a topical cream with the active ingredient found in men's ED medication, increasing blood flow exactly where it counts. Every order includes a short video introduction from your doctor, transparent pricing, and no subscriptions ever. Just real, sex-positive healthcare that delivers results. Because you're a Please Me listener, you can use coupon code PLEASEME for $15 off your order of any product on the Shameless Care website. Use the code PLEASEME, that's PLEASEME, at checkout to claim your $15 off. Again, that's shamelesscare.com, code PLEASEME. Because great sex shouldn't be complicated. It should be shameless. This episode is sponsored by Shameless Care.
Well, hello, Eve. Welcome. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks so much for, scheduling this appointment with me. I really have a dilemma on my hands and I really need your help. I need to get this worked out because I don't want it to affect my partnership, my relationship.
Well, please let us know what's going on. Who is the issue with?
So the issue is with my partner, and he has not the greatest breath. Okay. And I don't know how to bring this up to him in a way that's not going to totally insult him.
Yeah.
And so I would love some help in trying to get this like information across without fully insulting him.
Well, you're actually in a perfect place because this very thing happened to me.
Okay.
So it did.
Interesting.
Yes.
Okay.
Apparently, if I drink whiskey at night or too much whiskey at night, I get a little heartburn the next morning. And my beautiful bride brought it up one time. And so, darling, do you remember how you said it?
I'm hoping I said it like this. So one of the principles in our book is the 5% rule. And the 5% signifies a conversation that is pretty hard to talk about. It's hard for me to say, and it's probably hard for the person to receive. And so we would say, hey, babe, can I share a 5% with you?
Yeah, sure.
And
what's going on?
I would bookend it, right? I'm going to preface it with, I love being with you. I love kissing you.
Okay.
But
yes.
I've noticed that there are some times in the morning that there is an odor, and I don't think it's coming from your mouth. I think it's coming from the gut.
Oh.
And it's, I think that we should take a look at that because I, again, love kissing you, and I don't want anything to get in the way of us.
Well, sweetie, I love kissing you as well. And if there's anything that's going to stop that, then I will put a stop to it. And so, are you aware of any medicines that I can take? Have you ever had this happen before with anybody that you've kissed?
No, but I had dental patients that it was an issue. So it's usually an acid.
Okay, absolutely. Well, thank you for bringing that up. I know that it was challenging and hard, and I know you're not putting me down.
I don't want to hurt your feelings.
I appreciate it very much. So, let's look into that.
Okay. So, like setting the goal of like, I don't want anything to get in the way of our intimacy is always really important to let the person know this is why I'm bringing it up.
Yeah. So, Eve, thanks for coming into the office. We want you to be able to recognize a couple things. One, notice how she bookended this. I love kissing you. And I bet your partner likes kissing you as well, right? And so you're going to compliment them. Let them know that you want to do that more often. But you have something that might be challenging. And so if you're not going to say, hey, I've got a 5%, you can say, can I run it might be a challenging question past you. Get that permission. And once your partner says, yeah, far away. So I've noticed this, that there's just an odor. I don't know where it's coming from, but I get hesitant to kiss you when I smell it, and I want to kiss you more often. So always going over the goal again. So is that something that we could look into? And so it's not, can you go take care of that? It's
right.
Is that something we could look into so that we can make out more often? And if it's, if they get flustered or frustrated, it's, anger is never a primary emotion. It's always a reaction to fear or pain. And so you address the fear or the pain if it shows up, right? Maybe I didn't mean to hurt you. Don't be afraid. We can get through this, right? I love you. I want more of you. That's the only reason why I bring it up.
And I'd also say, and if there's ever anything on my end, please let me know. Like, I know it's hard to hear, but I just want to make sure that we're in sync. And I feel like that always softens the blow too. If there's like an invitation, like, please, like,
right. And then it could open you up to like, okay, here comes the bombardment, oh, you've been holding back,
Right.
But if you are constantly having these 5% conversations, right, when they come up in your relationship, there's never going to be that, oh my gosh, the bombardment, because things you're communicating things as they come up. So So the 5%, is that like 5% is like the hardest?
Yeah.
95% is easy to talk about. 5%
Exactly.
is like the hardest things to talk about. Gotcha. Okay. Got it.
Yeah.
Well, I love this example. And with that being said, I'm going to say end scene, because
Great job.
I think we finished it, but I was going to say, I love this example because, you actually had this experience in your relationship, which is why we brought up the ick of being bad breath in this particular role play, because you guys wanted to, that was like an ick of yours, Amy, because you were a dental hygienist in the past. And so, so now, just out of curiosity, do you like limit yourself to like the one whiskey instead of the 2 glasses, or
through the night and I wake up? No, I'm just kidding.
No,
just like, okay, tomorrow, like kissing is off limits because I'm going to have my 2 or 3 whiskeys tonight.
No, so I did cut down on my drinking, and I learned to take an antacid when I'm starting to feel something. I'm willing to make any kind of adjustment for our intimate life. I want us to be on the same page, and that's what intimacy means. It's just to be on the same page. And so we try not to react when we talk to each other. It's challenging for some. It's not for us anymore. Because we ask questions and listen with this intent to understand, we also have this willingness to be influenced by each other. And because of that, I believe what she has to say is valid, real, important. And so because it is, I'm willing to make the adjustments.
I love that. Yeah. I love this. So where can we find you? Where can my listeners who are listening today and want to find your beautiful lube or your book that you talked about? I got a 2 for today. We got authors and we got an incredible product that we can get. So where can we find all of your, and maybe even coaching too, if you do coaching virtually or whatever, where can we find you?
Yeah. Aria Lux Life, ARIA LUXE LIFE, arialuxlife.com.
Very good.
On there, and you can always message us if you're interested in virtual counseling, or if you're in Naples,
come on by. You betcha.
Nice. Thank you. And again, you guys, everyone out there, you can find me on pleaseme.online. That is where I have all of my educational information. You can reach out to me there as well. So do that. And with that being said, I want to thank you again for being on the show today. This was a wonderful conversation.
Awesome.
Thank you, Eve. Appreciate you.
Until next time.
You bet.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
If you're feeling disconnected from your body, struggling with intimacy, or facing a sexual health condition, you're not alone. There is no shame in what you're experiencing, and you don't have to figure it out on your own. But the longer you wait, the harder it becomes to reclaim your confidence, pleasure, and connection. That's why I offer a free 15-minute discovery call to explore what's going on and whether working together is the right next step. Spots fill quickly, so don't wait. The link is in the show notes. Grab your time now.
I want to personally invite you to join me on Patreon for ad-free listening, bonus episodes, and early releases. Already there is a lot of bonus content on there with many webinars that I've done in the past and a show that I've never released to the public before. My show is completely self-funded, and when you are able to support me in this way, I'm able to spread my message of body positivity, self-love, and women's empowerment, and empowerment in general around sexuality around the globe. And so with that being said, I appreciate everyone who has already joined Patreon, and if you've thought about joining, now's your nudge to do so. I thank you from the bottom of my heart.